As some of you might have heard, Andrew Tate is fully liquidated from his crypto position and losing like $800,000. I'm going to be explaining how you can avoid this mistake that he made, because he made so many mistakes with this, and how you can actually make money from crypto trading. As someone who has made multiple hundreds of thousands of dollars from crypto trading, at a very young age, I made it at 21 years old. So I'll tell you what you can learn from his mistakes and how you can avoid it. And I have not pumped any type of crypto. I don't sell a crypto course or anything like that. I'm not pumping and dumping coins like Andrew Tate has in the past. I'm not promoting cryptocurrencies that make you lose your money. So I'm saying this as someone who's actually skillful in trading crypto. So number one, as you guys might have heard, he was using a platform called Hyperliquid, and with Hyperliquid, you have access to leverage. And Andrew Tate, had he not been using leverage, he might have actually been fine in terms of trading crypto, because with leverage, essentially what happens, if you guys aren't sure what leverage is, which I'm sure a lot of you guys are, essentially you can get double, triple, quadruple, 20, 30, 40, 50x the return. However, you have a liquidation price. And the moment you hit that liquidation price, you lose all your money in the position. For example, let's say you buy Bitcoin right now, it's at $92,000, and you entered on 50x leverage. Your liquidation price might be 92,500. If it hits 92,500, in terms of if you're entering a short, your $100 would fully zero out. And Bitcoin might hit 92,500 and then drop down to $89,000. But since you got liquidated out, you didn't even benefit from the move. However, if you're trading spot, for example, where let's say you enter Bitcoin at $90,000 and you're hoping it goes to 100K, Bitcoin can drop all the way to 20K, and it could retrace all the way back up and backed up to 100K and even more, and you'll be fine because you were on spot and you weren't trading with leverage. Leverage wipes out a lot of dreams from traders. So here's how you can actually utilize it properly, because it literally is like a very, very dangerous weapon where if you don't know how to handle it, you will get screwed over by leverage. So the way I approach leverage is I always make sure, one, my risk to reward is really, really in my favor. When one time when Trump got elected back in 2024, Bitcoin was at like $70,000. And I knew Bitcoin would go up to $100,000. And it obviously ended up doing that because Trump was obviously really, really bullish about crypto. And in hindsight, it's easy to look back on that move now. But obviously, in the moment, me making that trade was pretty bold and ambitious. And I was entering with leverage. So what I did is I made sure my risk wasn't too much. Like, I think my stop loss might have been like 68,000. My risk was where I would lose a couple $1,000s, and my gain was Bitcoin goes up by like 30K and I make thousands of dollars, like tens of thousands, even potentially near the six figures amount. So obviously it ended up playing out. My account ended up, I think I turned like 20,000 to 162,000 from those couple moves that I made. But I was right. Had I been wrong, because maybe, who knows, Trump says, oh, crypto is really, really bad, and then all of a sudden Bitcoin crashes. I lose a couple $1,000s in that scenario. So I always make sure whenever I'm trading with leverage, my risk to reward is really, really good. Number two, I make sure if I'm trading within a shorter time frame, I understand that with leverage, I can be right about the overall direction, but if it doesn't happen instantly, I could get screwed over. So like I said, in the example where you're short in Bitcoin and Bitcoin goes from $92,000, goes up to $92,500, if you're using enough leverage, you might get liquidated out, and then it could drop to $89,000. So whatever move I make with leverage, I assume whichever direction I want to play out will play out relatively fast, and there won't be much of a retracement. If I'm not confident and I think that there might be a potential retracement, I either really, really lower my leverage, or I just don't even take the trade at all, because I would rather a breaking confirmation happen and then my short be right than me trying to predict that. Sure, it might drop in price. However, if there's a retracement high enough and it liquidates me out, then I've essentially made no money. So those are the things that you mainly have to look for when trading leverage. You want to make sure your risk to reward is really, really good, and you want to make sure that in general, whatever move you're hoping plays out doesn't plays out relatively quickly and doesn't screw you over, where you enter in like you enter in and then Bitcoin retraces, or whatever you're trading retracements, and then it liquidates you out. You want the move to happen out instantly, if that makes sense. So in general, though, I would recommend most of you don't trade with leverage, and if you do, only do a small percentage of your portfolio. 80% of your portfolio should be spot cryptos, because that case you can't get liquidated unless you're trading like some horrible meme coin where it's literally just people rug pulling. That obviously you can get zeroed out on. But in general, Bitcoin, Ethereum, major caps like that, you won't fully get zeroed out on. And then with that other like 10 to 20%, sure, you could trade leverage. But again, keep those two things in mind. Stop loss, like risk to reward, and making sure whatever direction you think plays out relatively quickly and you don't get wicked out of your position. Don't make the same mistake Andrew Tate did. Obviously, Andrew Tate's rich and he can afford to pump and dump another crypto and get replenished, or he could sell some courses and make money. You probably don't have that luxury. So make sure you're being careful with how you're crypto trading and using leverage.